Bethlehem celebrates first Christmas since Gaza conflict. Trump-backed candidate wins Honduras election. Salam Malaysia Madani, I'm Mohana Priya and you're watching World Today. Pope Leo XIV has celebrated the first Christmas Mass of his pontificate at the Vatican, greeting thousands of faithful in St. Peter's Square in an unusually informal style. Before the service, the American pontiff thanked worshippers who gathered in rainy weather, telling the crowd that St. Peter's Basilica was not large enough to welcome everyone. During the Mass, Pope Leo described Christmas as a feast of faith, charity and hope, and criticized what he called a distorted economy that treats human beings as mere merchandise. He delivered a strictly religious homily, making no direct reference to current world affairs. The Mass was attended by senior church officials, diplomats and thousands of worshippers, marking one of the most important celebrations in the Catholic calendar. Scouts marched under clear blue skies in Bethlehem on Wednesday as the Palestinian city celebrated its first festive Christmas in more than 2 years. After a somber period marked by the war in Gaza, celebrations returned to the city, with a fragile truce holding in Gaza despite dire humanitarian conditions there. Drums and bagpipes echoed through Bethlehem's streets as Christian families gathered at Manger Square, filling the city with music, colour and renewed spirit. Hundreds joined a parade along the historic Star Street, while crowds gathered near the Church of the Nativity. Santa-clad vendors sold toys and sweets, and families posed for photos beside a brightly lit nativity scene. Residents say the return of Christmas celebrations bring hope and a sense of life back to the city after years of hardship. Catholics and visitors gathered at Notre Dame de Paris for Christmas Eve Mass, marking only the second Christmas service held at the cathedral since it reopened earlier this month. The iconic landmark has been closed for more than 5 years following the devastating fire in April 2019, which destroyed its spire and roof but spared the bell towers and main facade. Notre Dame reopened in early December 2024 after an extensive restoration effort funded by 840 million euros in donations from around the world. Meanwhile, astronauts aboard the International Space Station, ISS, have sent a Christmas message from beyond, wishing people on Earth a happy holiday.
Greetings to planet Earth, all of our friends and family from Expedition 74 aboard the International Space Station, flying high above, thinking of you during this holiday season. During this season, it's about spending time with family and friends and enjoying time together and reflecting on the year that we've just had. And what a great year it's been for us as astronauts aboard Expedition 74 and previously Expedition 73.
Astronauts have decorated the ISS with stockings hung by the airlock and proudly displayed a small Christmas tree during their message.
Rakyat Malaysia, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat menyambut Hari Christmas kepada masyarakat beragama Kristian. Semoga perayaan kali ini disambut dengan penuh keceriaan dan warna-warni. Saya juga ingin mengingatkan kepada semua untuk berhati-hati walau di mana saja anda berada. Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday!
The news continues. Cambodian and Thai officials have begun 4 days of talks aimed at ending deadly border clashes. The negotiations are taking place at a checkpoint in Thailand's Chanthaburi province after Cambodia had requested a neutral venue. Both sides hope to restore stability, end hostilities, and allow displaced residents to return home. The long-standing border conflict reignited earlier this month, killing more than 40 people and displacing around 1 million. The dispute stems from colonial-era border demarcations and disputed temple sites. Thai officials expressed hope for positive outcomes but stressed that talks' success depends on Cambodia's sincerity. Cambodia, in turn, said it is optimistic Thailand will fully implement a ceasefire. Previous attempts at peace, brokered by the US, China and Malaysia, have failed to hold, making this round of talks crucial for both neighbours. Conservative businessman Nasri Asfura has been declared the winner of Honduras presidential election weeks after a tightly contested vote marked by delays and allegations of fraud. The National Electoral Council confirmed Asfura's victory on Wednesday, saying he was elected to a 4-year term. The 67-year-old, who is backed by US President Donald Trump, narrowly defeated fellow conservative and television personality Salvador Nasrallah, who had called for a full recount. Official results show Asfura winning 40.1% of the vote, just ahead of Nasrallah on 39.5%. Leftist candidate Rixi Moncada finished third with 19.2%. The U.S. welcomed Asfura's election, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying Washington looks forward to working with the incoming administration on security cooperation, migration and economic ties. Asfura is set to take office on 27 January as Honduras prepares for a transition of power following one of its closest elections in years. 14 countries, including France, Britain and Germany, on Wednesday condemned Israel's recent approval of new Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank. The countries stressed such unilateral actions violate international law and risk undermining a fragile ceasefire in Gaza as mediators push for the implementation of the second phase of the truce. In a joint statement, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, Iceland, Ireland, Japan, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain and the UK condemned the approval by the Israeli Security Cabinet of 19 new settlements in the occupied West Bank. On Sunday, Israel's far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich announced the authorities had greenlit the settlements, saying the move was aimed at preventing the establishment of a Palestinian state. The countries urged Israel to reverse this decision, as well as the expansion of settlements. They also reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to a comprehensive, just and lasting peace based on the two-state solution. Earlier this month, the United Nations and the expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, all of which are illegal under international law, had reached its highest level since at least 2017. The European Union and some member states reacted sharply to US sanctions imposed on 5 European figures involved in regulating tech companies, including former European Commissioner Thierry Breton. They were responding after the U.S. State Department announced that it would deny visas to the 5, accusing them of seeking to coerce American social media platforms into censoring viewpoints they oppose. France, Germany and Spain also condemned the news from Washington. Breton, the former top tech regulator at the European Commission, often clashed with tycoons, including Elon Musk, over their obligations to follow EU rules. The State Department has described him as the mastermind of the EU's Digital Services Act, DSA, which imposes content moderation and other standards on major social media platforms operating in Europe. The DSA stipulates that major platforms must explain content moderation decisions, provide transparency for users, and ensure researchers can carry out essential work. Algeria's parliament unanimously approved a law declaring France's colonization of the country a crime, demanding an apology and reparations in a move Paris condemned as hostile. Now, the bill states that France holds legal responsibility for its colonial past in Algeria and the tragedies it caused. The vote comes as the two countries are embroiled in a major diplomatic crisis, and while the move is largely symbolic, it is still politically significant. The legislation lists the crimes of French colonization, including nuclear tests, extrajudicial killings, physical and psychological torture, and the systematic plundering of resources. A French Foreign Ministry spokesperson condemned the law's passing as counterproductive to the desire to resume Franco-Algerian dialogue and to calm discussions on historical issues. France's rule over Algeria from 1830 until 1962, marked by mass killings and large-scale deportations, all the way up to the bloody War of Independence from 1954 to 62. Algeria says the war killed 1.5 million people, while French historians put the death toll lower at 500,000 in total. Up next, bomb blast in packed Nigerian mosque kills 7. Stay tuned.
minit tanpa henti, 76 minutes non-stop. Transparent and concise. Paparan komprehensif, ringkas dan padat. Saksikan Kanta 744 7:44 malam. Berita perdana 8 malam. Malaysia Tonight, 8:30 PM.
MyCard bukan sekadar kad pengenalan, tetapi medium utama yang menghubungkan rakyat dengan pelbagai perkhidmatan kerajaan dan swasta. Banyak insentif kerajaan disalurkan melalui MyCard, daripada bantuan kebajikan, kemudahan kesihatan hinggalah pelbagai program rakyat. Inilah keistimewaan yang dimiliki oleh setiap warga negara Malaysia. Sila periksa keadaan MyCard anda. Sekiranya chip rosak, hilang atau MyCard sudah uzur, segera lakukan penggantian di Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara agar hak dan kemudahan anda sentiasa terjamin. Inilah komitmen madani. Dengan dokumen identiti yang sah, moden dan diyakini, rakyat disantuni sebaiknya. MyCard, identiti anda, kebanggaan negara.
Brazil's former President Jair Bolsonaro has been temporarily released from prison to undergo surgery in Brasilia. Bolsonaro, 70, was escorted to DF Star Hospital Wednesday ahead of an operation for an inguinal hernia, a groin condition caused by a tear in the abdominal muscles. It is unclear how long he will remain hospitalized. The release was granted by Supreme Court Justice Alexander de Moraes following an expert review confirming that the procedure was medically necessary. Bolsonaro has been detained since November after being sentenced for attempting a coup to block President Lula's inauguration. The far-right leader has denied the charges, calling them politically motivated. At least 7 worshippers were killed after an explosion tore through a mosque in northeastern Nigerian city of Maiduguri. Witnesses and security sources say the blast occurred inside a crowded mosque in the Gamboru market during evening prayers. Police confirmed an explosion had taken place with bomb disposal teams deployed to the scene. Officials have yet to release an official casualty figure, though local leaders say up to 8 people may have been killed. No group has claimed responsibility so far. However, anti-jihadist militia sources say the incident is suspected to be a bombing, possibly carried out inside the mosque. Some witnesses also described it as a suicide attack. Authorities have urged caution, while an international aid group advised staff to avoid the area as investigations continue. Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, has long been the center of an insurgency linked to Boko Haram, though the city has not suffered a major attack in recent years. Three people were killed in a bomb explosion in Moscow after two police officers approached a man acting suspiciously. Russia's investigative committee said the officers were killed when an explosive device detonated, adding that the third person also died in the blast. The explosion happened near the site where a senior Russian general was killed 2 days earlier in a car bombing. Moscow has accused Ukrainian intelligence of being behind that attack. Ukrainian military intelligence has previously said it was responsible for a number of attacks inside Russia, though there was no immediate comment from Kiev on this latest incident. Russian investigators have opened criminal cases into the murder of law enforcement officers and the illegal trafficking of explosives as security around the area was tightened. An oil spill triggered by Russian strikes on Ukraine's Pindinvi port has polluted beaches in the Odessa region, leaving dozens of birds coated in vegetable oil. Local officials say the spill occurred after sunflower oil storage tanks were damaged during attacks on port infrastructure. Emergency crews have deployed floating barriers and specialized vessels to contain the leak, while the port's navigation channel was temporarily closed. The Odessa Zoo has opened a rescue center to clean and rehabilitate affected birds.
Можливість рухатись, тому що вони заліпають, вони не можуть ані не злетіти, ні плавати, вони втрачають рухомість і дуже швидко замерзають, тому що зараз холодно. Одним чином це велика пернікоза і мала чорношийна пернікоза. Це водоплавні птахи, які дуже вразливі до таких ось уражень, як олія.
Authorities noted that the oil is organic and expected to biodegrade, but cleanup and monitoring efforts remain underway to prevent further environmental damage. Now, flash flood warnings are in force across Los Angeles and much of Southern California as one of the worst Christmas storms in years batters the region. The powerful system driven by the so-called Pineapple Express is pulling massive tropical moisture from Hawaii, with forecasters warning some areas could see months' worth of rain in just days. California governor has declared a state of emergency in several counties, including Los Angeles, to speed up the deployment of emergency resources. Heavy rain began Tuesday night, bringing fallen trees, debris, and localized flooding that disrupted traffic. Conditions worsened early Wednesday, knocking out power to about 101,000 homes and businesses statewide. Coastal communities such as Pacific Palisades and Malibu are under special alerts as fire-damaged hillsides remain highly vulnerable to mudslides. The Red Cross has opened emergency shelters, with some residents ordered to evacuate. Several major roads were closed following accidents and flooding. Forecasters warn the worst may continue through Friday, urging the public to avoid unnecessary travel during the Christmas period. A shallow 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck southeastern Taiwan, but there were no immediate reports of damage. Now, the quake struck at a depth of 10 kilometers in Taitung County. Earlier, Taiwan's Central Weather Administration estimated its magnitude at 6.1. According to the National Fire Agency, so far no damage to the island's transport networks had been reported. The quake was felt farther north in capital Taipei, where some buildings shook. Local television channels showed footage of products falling from supermarket shelves and shattering in Taitung. Now, Taiwan is frequently hit by earthquakes due to its location on the edge of two tectonic plates near the Pacific Ring of Fire. The last major earthquake occurred in April 2024 when the island was hit by a deadly 7.4 magnitude tremor that officials said was the strongest in 25 years. India's space agency launched its heaviest ever payload on Wednesday, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling the deployment a significant stride for the space sector.
This is the heaviest satellite ever lifted from Indian soil using an Indian launcher. This is also the third fully commercial mission of LVM-3, and the vehicle has demonstrated its excellent track record.
The LVM-3M6 rocket launched the US-built AST Space Mobile Communications Satellite into low Earth orbit. Now, the launch is a boost for India's ambitious low-cost space program, with plans for an unscrewed orbital mission and human space flight in the coming years. From reviving long-extinct species to robots competing on the world stage, 2025 pushed the boundaries of science and innovation. Here's a look back at some of the breakthroughs and bold ideas that captured global attention this year. US biotech firm Colossal Biosciences made headlines by claiming it had produced 3 dire wolves, a species extinct for more than 10,000 years, by editing the genome of modern grey wolves using ancient DNA. But experts questioned the claim, warning that degraded fossil DNA makes full genetic revival virtually impossible. In the UK, startup Better Dairy set out to transform food production by developing animal-free cheese and yogurt. The company says its products match the taste of traditional dairy while cutting environmental impact by eliminating methane-producing cattle. 21-year-old design graduate from Ravensbourne University in London, Rahat Rai, developed slippers made from household dust. His Done and Dusted project transforms vacuum cleaner dust into a felt-like material, repurposing everyday waste. Music met biology as the experimental band Bionic and the Wires turned plants and fungi into performers. By connecting mushrooms and plants to sensors, their natural electrical signals were translated into musical notes played through custom-built instruments. Artificial intelligence also entered the farmyard. British researchers developed IntelliPig, an AI system that analyzes pigs' facial expressions to identify individuals and detect stress, a potential leap forward for animal welfare. In China, the World Humanoid Robot Games showcased robots competing in football, boxing and long-distance running, highlighting rapid advances in robotics and human-machine interaction. And in Hong Kong, researchers developed a tiny high-speed drone capable of navigating complex environments at more than 70 kilometers per hour, using advanced laser sensors to map obstacles in real time. From biology to robotics, 2025 proved that innovation continues to reshape how we live, work, and imagine the future. In sports, injury hit Palmer back in action for Chelsea. Stay tuned. Kingsley Coman bagged a brace and earned man of the match honours at Al Nassr's 5-1 win over Iraq's Al Zawra on Wednesday. Now, the result sees Al Nassr's go perfect in the group stage with 6 wins from 6, with Al Zawra also advancing to February's round of 16 on goal difference. The French winger combined with Brazil's Angelo Gabriel to open the scoring 12 minutes in. The visitors then failed to clear the danger from an Al Nassr corner, with the ball falling for Angelo to make it 2. Abdullah Al-Amri headed in a Joao Flick's corner just shy of the half-hour mark before Cristiano Ronaldo set up his Portuguese compatriot to give the Saudi Pro League leaders a 4-goal advantage going into the break. Al Zawra pulled one back through Nigerian international Ibrahim Gawdosi 5 minutes after the restart, but Coman offered a quick to reply, complete a 5-1 rout. Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim said it will be impossible to replace injured captain Bruno Fernandes, but insisted that the Portugal midfielder's absence presents an opportunity for others to step up. Fernandes was forced off at half-time during Sunday's 2-1 defeat by Aston Villa with a soft tissue injury, leaving United without their creative fulcrum and set-piece organiser. Amorim declined to discuss the extent of the injuries, but acknowledged the void it creates.
I think it's impossible to replace Bruno, but I said that in this morning to the team. I think it's we need to take the good thing, if there is a good thing on that a lot of people need to step up. And if you see it's not just the creation, but every set piece is the guy that is organizing sometimes the team, and that is a good opportunity for everyone to step up, to understand that we cannot rely on one player for everything.
Manchester United will next take on Newcastle United on Friday. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer is finally ready to play a full match after months of injury struggles as the Blues prepare to face high-flying Aston Villa in the Premier League on Saturday. Palmer has been restricted to partial appearances due to a groin injury and a broken toe. Manager Enzo Maresca said Palmer has completed his comeback journey through a careful progression of minutes.
I think he's ready for 90 minutes. Yeah, the progression for a player is 45, 1 hour, 70. He already played 1 hour against I think Everton. He played more than 70 against Newcastle. So I think the progression is there. He's back. He's back. He's available for Saturday. Him and also Liam Delap.
The Italian will welcome back 2 more players from the treatment room, with striker Liam Delap recovering from a shoulder injury sustained earlier this month, and winger Estawao returning from a muscle problem that kept him out of the last 2 games. 4th place Chelsea will take on Brighton on Saturday. And that's it for our bulletin this afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow with more updates from around the world. To all our viewers celebrating, we wish you a joyful Christmas. May your holidays be filled with warmth, laughter and time spent with loved ones. Till then, I'm Mohana Priya. Thank you for your company.